Hey everybody, Mark here with Ardent Pro Staff. Just thought I would go over a couple quick tips for reel care and maintenance. Kind of got a blistery day here in South Dakota, and it's going to be a little while for our lakes open up, so I thought I'd take a minute to kind of show everybody a couple quick steps that I feel makes a big difference in the performance of the reel and making them last much longer. One of the products I use is the Ardent Reel Butter Bearing Oil. This is a synthetic blend. This is some of the best stuff I've ever used, and I've used a lot of different ones over the years. Really like this stuff. Another great product that I started using is Reel Clean from Ardent. You spray it on the reels or spray a light coat on a rag and wipe them off. It's got a rust inhibitor, corrosion inhibitor built into it. Really nice stuff. Cleans them up really nice. Also, it helps dissolve the grease and the oils, and just a fantastic product. So today we're going to be using the Ardent Apex Elite bait casting reel. It's my favorite. I believe it's a 12 bearing reel, very lightweight, backed by a 3-year warranty. These are a great product, great reels. So one of the first steps we need to do is in the worm shaft area, here and over here, there's a bearing on each side of this. Some reel models don't have a bearing there, they'll have a bushing, but it still needs to be lubricated. So what you want to do is put a drop of oil in each corner of that worm shaft and just give her a spin and get her worked in there, and that'll keep those running good. Next thing you want to do is put some oil on that worm shaft, or even a light grease, and then cycle that back and forth, and that keeps that lubricated, keeps that line pawl lubricated. You also want to make sure you keep that clean. If that does get really dirty, you can spray some of that Ardent Reel Cleaner in there, hit it with a little air, blow that out, and then lubricate it. You get grit in there, that wears out that line pawl, and then you'll be taking it to a shop. It'll cost you a little bit more money. But that's an area that your guy needs to really take good care of and to pay attention to. On right-handed reels, there's a spool tension knob. So you want to take that off. As you can see, there is a bearing in there, and the spool shaft comes through that as well, and the pinion gear also runs in there. It's a good idea to put a couple drops of oil in there, cycle it, spin it, do that a couple of times, keep that lubricated well. Also in the cap, there's usually a spacer or a copper bushing of some sort in there. You want to make sure you put some oil in there, or even a light grease to keep that lubricated. Now we want to remove the left side cover plate. Reels are attached differently. Ardent uses a little lock bolt here. Rotate the side plate, pull that off. And as you can see, there is a bearing in here as well. You want to put a couple drops on that. And then also inside the bearing is where the spool shaft goes. You want to put a little bit of lubricant in there as well. Then you can pull the spool shaft out, and you'll see here on the shaft there's a pin bearing there. Good idea to put a little lubricant on that as well. And put that spool in there, give it a spin. Also on some reels inside here around the pinion gear, there'll be a small thin bearing there as well. You want to take a look at that. Not all reels have that. You want to put a couple drops of oil on that as well. Sometimes I like to take a swab and clean all the fuzz off of it, put a little drop of oil on that, and you can run that inside that pinion gear and flush that back and forth and keep that clean. Then when you go to reassemble this, you want to put a light coat of oil on the spool shaft, not very much, just a real light coat of oil. Put that in there. Got some line caught in there. Didn't take all the line off. There we go. Tighten that back up. You should be ready to go. A lot of reels on the knobs will have bearings inside of here. They'll have one on the bottom, one on the top. These have screws in them that you can take out. You can put a drop of oil in there. You can put a drop of oil down here in the pivot area and keep those lubricated. Some reels just have bushings in there. Still a pretty good idea to keep that lubricated. Keeps the knob smooth, takes friction away from the reel. And like I said, when you're done with that, you can take some of the reel clean, spray a light coating on a rag, wipe them all off, and you're basically ready to go. Those are real simple steps. You can do that a couple times a year. Depends how often you go fishing and use your reels. You do that, I guarantee it'll keep your reels running longer and smoother. Other than that, everybody be safe on the water and have a good weekend.